And there are a lot of different ways that we use to talk about corporate culture. One of the ones that we keep saying is, it's what happens when the manager leaves the room. But I like to think of corporate culture as the side effects of working for your company. The side effects of working for your company. A couple of years ago, when I was working on this book and doing research on employee experience, I was taking a break and I was watching a show on TV. And in the middle of the show, there was a commercial that came on for a prescription drug. And then it got to the end of the commercial and it started to list all the side effects. Nausea, weight gain, skin discoloration, bleeding from the eyes, and in some cases, death. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what the hell? Who is going to take this kind of a prescription drug? And then I was thinking about that for a little bit, and I realized that most people work for organizations that have the exact same side effects. Let that sink in for a minute. Most people work for organizations where from prolonged exposure, you gain weight, you lose your hair, nausea, skin discoloration maybe, bleeding from the eyes. All right, we've all been to those meetings. So why is it that we wouldn't take that prescription drug yet are willing to subject ourselves to work for these types of organizations? Week after week, month after month, and year after year. What are the side effects of working for your company? And by the way, the side effects don't have to be bad. The side effects can also be great. Side effects can be things like a sense of purpose and meaning, feeling like you're having an impact, learning and growth and development, connection. The side effects of working for your company can be great. And one of the things I always encourage leaders to think about is, if I were to bottle up what it was like to work at your company and give you a pill right now that would allow you to experience all the side effects of working for your company, both the good side effects and the bad side effects, would you be willing to swallow that corporate culture pill? And oftentimes when I ask a lot of these executives, kind of one-on-one discussions, a lot of them always say, honestly, no. And I always say, well, how do you expect everybody else at your company to swallow the corporate culture pill if you are not willing to be the first one to swallow it? So for all of you leaders in this room, you need to be the first ones to swallow that corporate culture pill. Lead by example. Lead by example. One of the reasons why I started doing what I'm doing now is because I never worked for an organization that had a great corporate culture. I actually come from a family of immigrants. My grandmother was born in Odessa, Ukraine. My family was born in the Republic of Georgia. They then migrated to Italy, which is where they met, moved to Australia, which is where I was born, and then came to the United States, which is where I was raised. And, growing up with Russian immigrant parents, you can imagine that, you got to work. Right? The immigrant mentality of Russian parents is you got to work hard, you got to do well in school. And unfortunately, that didn't quite click in for me. I got terrible grades in high school. I had a 2.7 GPA. I went to community college. I bumped it up to a whopping 2.8. Parents were thrilled. And then I went to the University of California, Santa Cruz. I double majored in economics and psychology. And when I was there, something clicked in my brain. And I was like, wait a minute. This is the last chance I get. If I don't do well in college, I'm not going to get a good job. I'm not going to be able to make any money. I'm not going to be able to provide for a family. I'm going to be screwed. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to buckle down and I'm going to work hard. So I double majored. I graduated with honors, and I was super excited to join the corporate world. And my first job out of college was working for a technology company in Los Angeles. And when I went to go interview there, I was told that I would be doing all these really amazing things. Meeting with executives and entrepreneurs, I'd be really making an impact, I'd be doing all these really great things. And I thought, oh man, this is awesome. This is why I worked so hard in college. So I took the job. And I was willing to forego my hour-and-a-half commute to work, an hour-and-a-half commute back from work. So 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week driving. But I thought, you know what? This seems like a great company. I was told a great story. I'm going to take the job. A couple months into my job, I'm sitting there, I'm doing data entry, I'm doing cold calling, I'm doing PowerPoint presentations, thinking thank God I went to college to be able to do this. One day, CEO comes out of his beautiful corner office, and he says, Jacob, get over here, I have something really important for you. You can imagine I got excited. Okay, paid my dues, here it is, the moment has arrived, something amazing is going to happen. So I ran over to the CEO, and I'm like, yeah, what is it? And he puts his hand in his pocket, and he takes out his wallet, And he takes out a $10 bill, slaps it in my hand, and says, I am late for a meeting. I need you to go run down to Starbucks and get me a latte and get something for yourself as well while you're there. Oh, you're so generous. And when he gave me that $10 bill to go get him coffee at Starbucks, in my mind, I was thinking, are you serious? Like, this is why I work so hard in school, is to get you a cup of coffee. Get your own stupid cup of coffee. Of course, that's what I said on the inside. On the outside, I said, of course, I would love to get you that cup of coffee. It burns your face off. I didn't say that last part. I was thinking about that. So naturally, I went to Starbucks. I said, make it extra hot. And that was one of the last corporate jobs I ever had working for anybody else. That was nearly 15 years ago. Now, contrast that story to one that is oftentimes told about when President Kennedy went to go visit the NASA Space Center. And as the story goes, he's getting a tour of the facilities, and he sees a man walking down the hall with a broom and a bucket. And President Kennedy stops the tour. He goes over to the man with the broom and a bucket, and he says, hi, I'm President Kennedy. What do you do here? And the man pushing the broom and bucket takes off his hat, and he says, I helped put a man on the moon. He didn't say, I sweep the bathroom floors. He didn't say, I restock paper towels. He said, I helped put a man on the moon. That's a very different corporate culture